Well, maybe a little bit.
A little bit?
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Well, I'm glad to hear that she is involved in this event. This is a big deal. You know, one of the most expensive appliances anyone can ever own in their home is their heating and cooling system. Mm-hmm. And we want to make sure that we provide both you and Julie all of your options. So again, you know down to the penny what it will take to have a home comfort system be installed in your home.
Okay.
And if you're like me, Joe, you know, I'm all about saving pennies. So if it's important to you and your wife, then let's find a day and time that works best for her schedule. Like I said, we're available on weekends, if that makes more sense for her schedule.
All right, how about Saturday afternoon? That sounds good. Let's do it that way. So I think you have to just stay the course. Yeah, I think a lot of times people think you have to make some kind of slick move. No. It's just mainly, I'm not budging. This is what we're going this way, but I'm doing it in a nice way. You know, it's like, not because it's good for me. Obviously, there's a greedy motive, having both people in the house at the same time, easier to sell.
Absolutely.
Now,
I'm sure there's other ways to,
yeah, there are a lot of different ways. But
there's other ways.
The question I have is, are you saying that Calvary, and I don't know your business really
yeah, it's called Calvary.
You don't set one-legger sales appointments?
No.
Okay, because it pretty much is a waste of time, because even if the guy on the phone says, I'm the decision maker, I make all the decisions, damn it, I do what I want in my house, have the guy come out. And when you set that appointment and you hand him a price, he says, great, let me talk to my wife.
And to add on to that, I will tell you, and my own goal for myself is I will let them object me 3 times. If they tell me their spouse cannot absolutely be there, because I want to find out all the information as to why. That is my cue to listen with all ears, because they're telling me personal information as to who is the person that holds the money, who is the decision maker, all the buying signs, and I'll write those notes down for my field supervisor so that because eventually he's going to go in there. Now, most of our calls, I'd probably say maybe 95% of them, they're all 2 people are there. That 5% is going to be the one-legger, and those are the hard calls. But I'm not going to miss that opportunity. After my 3rd objection, I'm still going to go ahead and provide them the service that he deserves. Yeah. No matter what. So I'm not going to get rid of the call.
I think you try it and you keep moving, and then all of a sudden it's like, you know what, here's what we can do. Let's go ahead and schedule this time. I'll let the comfort advisor know that.
And then he can reset the lead.
Reset the lead, yeah. So it's not your job. You can communicate what happened, and now he can set that lead for second time there.
Absolutely.
So, we had over there, Teresa. Why don't we go over there in the back?
You guys are talking more on the installation. Of course, our business is more on the service side of the company business. My biggest issue with my CSRs that we find is, of course, price injection, and we also have a call-out fee. They do a pretty good job, but we still struggle tremendously with that. My question to you is, how do you
manage that thing? The resistance to a diagnostic charge or a travel fee?
I wasn't sure what you meant.
She meant a travel fee, a travel fee.
To come out to the house if you choose to work from them away.
Let's go ahead and do it. Here
Absolutely,
we go.
So it's diagnostic.
How can I just get how much does it cost for every call for you guys?
$89.
$89. I mean, that's a lot of money. I mean, I had another guy who said he'd come out for free. What do you say about that?
Well, Joe, I can understand and appreciate. Sounds like you like to save money just like I do.
Yeah.
Well, the great thing is here about Cavalry is we provide service specialists that are certified, background checked, and drug tested. And we come out with fully stocked vehicles. I know people think it's silly, but that's what I like to personally call our warehouse on wheels. And the great news, it means that most services and repairs are done right then and there on the spot. And your specialist, when he's out there, will be finding out what the problem is, and he'll be able to determine the solution to the problem, so you know what options are available to you, down to the penny. You'll know what it will take to get your system back up to running to factory fresh condition for a small service fee of only $89. Now, do mornings or afternoons work best for you?
Now let's stop right there, because what she just did right there, that whole spiel she gave, wasn't as important as the last thing she just did. What's the last thing she just did? She asked me a question, and that asking me the question took the focus off of the $89 and onto what's better, Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever. The fact that you asked me a question, to me, that's where the science takes into place, to shift the focus off what you're not saying. We're not going to give you the answer to the $0 versus $89. It's like a politician. They're not going to answer why does this when this is this. Well, let me tell you why. Because I believe in America's freedom. And it's like what? What about the taxes bill? Let me tell you something. Freedom is my most important thing about America. So it's like they shift the focus and talk about something that it's popular. So everything she said, who could disagree that that we want that, right? And it's like, yeah. It's only $89. What's the Tuesday, Wednesday? Yeah, it's Tuesday. And so time they get done saying yeah like 4 times in a row to everything she said, it's like one more yeah at the $89 request is right there. So I think that's the biggest thing, Teresa, is that if you fail to ask that final question, many people do what she does, but they fail to ask that question and nail the call down. That's what they forget to do. It's like carrying the ball to the 1 yard line and not getting it across the goal line. So a lot of people are professional. They may sound a professional tone, but they just don't take that ball 1 yard further. And believe me, nobody remembers a team that didn't score the touchdown that won the Super Bowl. They only remember the one that, remember the San Francisco 49ers? Where were they? It looked like a great comeback coming on, right? What happened at the end of the game where they're on the 5 yard line, right? Anybody going to remember that years from now? Nope. Just going to remember the team that won. They're going to remember as the team that won. That's all I remember. Yes, Edwina.
I just wanted to add to that comment. What she's also doing when she's saying about the company's background check was tested, she's actually creating value from what they can expect from the company with that $89. It's not just the charge of a small service fee of $89. She has now explained to the client or shared with the company what our company is all about to create that value on what that $89 represents.
And I'm keen on that tremendously because we do the same thing. We still get the question over and over again. And my question to you would be, if they go back to it, you've asked for the appointment, which we do, and they go back to it, where do you direct after that? You go back to the same thing?
That's a good question. That happens every day. So when I get to I would call it my main body of my script right there. When I get to that point of the small service fee and then I switch right into gears of, would Tuesday morning between blah, 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 or this time would be better. That's when I get it again saying, so it's going to be $89. Well, what I do is I just repeat and build the value again. I repeat all the value points. That's what you do. You share that with them. And it's a different approach. That's why when I said to him, I can understand, Joe, that you would like to have an idea, or I can understand that, it sounds like money is very important to you,
one of the things I loved is, I see you love to save money just like I do.
Mm-hmm.
We're both the same here. I love that type of thing. So ask yourself the question, do your people really follow that kind of detail when they're giving this? And then another thing that she could do is kind of break it off and make all those things. You probably had 4 or 5 things you did there. Mm-hmm. Could be broken up into separate segments. And say, what was your address again, type of thing.
Yeah.
And you could do it that way. You don't have to always do all the value builders. Mm-hmm. Build value on one thing, and then it happens again, build it again. Hey, we have my expert witness, Steve Kasha, in the back over there, who owns Kasha Communications. And let's give Steve a big hand for volunteering. He drove all the way here for, Steve came all the way out here from Philadelphia. He is not getting paid a dime other than we got a hotel room. We get to do that for him. But he just loves the group so much. He was here last year as a speaker, and he said, anything I can do to help, don't even worry about the payment. I just want to help your group and help the people there. Just some really great people. And so I said, but Steve, go ahead. I mean, so I'm going to preface your question with that or your comment with that.
What I was doing was holding up the 5-minute.
Is that what it was?
Looks like Dougie Fresh has a question.
If you're supposed to stay on time, I think we're doing a crappy job. We're supposed to have lunch a half an hour ago. But no, did a good job there, Steve. Go ahead, Doug.
Danielle, I want you to complete that sentence for Teresa because we have a policy in our company once you've found out the information on the age of that system and you still have an adamant homeowner that does not want to pay the diagnostic.
Yeah.
Go ahead and we'll play that one out. No big deal.
So real quick to add on to what he's saying is, by that time in the conversation, I have already gotten the contact name, address, age, and location of the equipment, what type of system it is, how they already heard about us, and their phone number, and their email address at that point. So I've already gotten all that crucial information. So then I share with them those 1 or 3 value points in my main script. Of course, I have other value points that are not included in my script. So if they object me on the $89 or that service fee, I'll pull that out too. So if they, again, I have my personal goal, which we talked about, is 3 objectives. If they object me again the 3rd time, depending on the age, because I know in our company what the line in the sand is for an opportunity for equipment. Ours is 12 years old. So if it's 12 years or older and they're just giving me, problems about the $89 service fee, I do go ahead and ask for their permission if I can speak with my supervisor and explain to them the situation that you are going through. And let's find out if we can get you the help that you still deserve and that you need by seeing if I can waive the $89 service fee. Is that fair or is that okay? Would you be okay with that? And, it doesn't hurt to ask. So I put them on hold because they always want to say, yeah, find out for me. That would be great. You would do that for me? Absolutely. My job, like I told you before, is to make sure I get you the right help. So that's what I'm here to do. So they give me permission. I put them on hold, max 30 seconds. And I already know I do have authority to go ahead and waive the service fee. So I let them think that I'm explaining the situation to my supervisor. And then I get back on the line with enthusiasm. Joe, great news.
What?
I explained the situation to my supervisor, and you know what? They're going to go ahead and waive your service fee for you. Isn't that great?
How can you reach to the phone and touch my arm? No, it's good, really good,
Well,
really good. And,
that's how I do it.
And I will tell you this: it's yeah, you got the new phone. The iPhone does that now. It's an app, right? And so one thing I would say is that the job of a CSR is to keep the schedule full. Now, if you got a call that's a lesser diagnostic fee, I have a 20. Some people have coupons and stuff like that. We can't apply a coupon we have on our website for $25 off the travel fee. If you want to do that, well, if I said I could do that, what would happen then? Then let's do it. Now, let's say that the dispatcher looks at all the calls and you got 8 people paying full price and 1 person who got one for $50 less. How would you prioritize the guy who had $0 or who didn't want to pay for a diagnostic fee compared to the 8 people who did pay? Naturally, you have to honor what first? You have to honor the people who invested in you and paid that fee, and then you still have a call on the schedule that you can now. You have a lot more freedom. I call it a standby call, which is not the highest priority. It's going to be something that if we had to reschedule somebody, it's going to be the person who didn't pay any fee for us at that point. If we lose that person, we lose them. But in the meantime, they stop shopping for other companies.
To add on to that, though, remember I talked about those 3 objections. I'll give them 3 times to object to me on that. I will already have offered and get them on a service agreement at that point. So, of course, the $89 waiving that is my absolute last resort because I want them to be a client for life by getting them involved in our service agreements.
I just realized something. We could probably...
That's how I incorporate that.
We could probably spend all day with just you alone. I just realized that. Isn't that great stuff? Good job there.
Thank you.
But unfortunately, lunch awaits. So, Steve, if you would, thank you, Danielle.
Thank you very
so
much, Joe.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Give her a big round of applause.
Danielle, stay here for me. Now, when I introduced this topic, talking about emotions and feelings, well, you could feel it in the room. And what you observed here during that role-playing was something extremely specific. When Danielle was handling objections, what you heard was called speech continuity. And what you're able to do is to speak in a continuous fashion without using any verbal junk, maintaining a consistent pace of speech, and understanding that 80% of what the person on the other end of the phone hears is your tone.
There you go.
Folks, that's what separates the amateurs from the professionals. That's why Danielle is a professional. Coming here today, you are witnessing some real interesting content.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good job.
Thank you very much.
Okay, a little bit of house cleaning.